what I want to move to is my favourite story, I think, in showbiz this year. The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively. I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously. And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
In a shocking revelation, British journalist Piers Morgan has claimed that Hollywood actress Blake Lively is set to testify against her husband, Ryan Reynolds, in an upcoming trial. While details about the case remain scarce, Morgan's explosive statement has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Fans are now speculating about the nature of the allegations and whether this could lead to a major scandal for the beloved Hollywood couple, now spray-gunning each other with as much dirt as they possibly can after months of public displays of affection. Now, me again, critical drinker. This is more your world, but I thought it was a great film. I have to say, I haven't been to the cinema in a long time and actually sat through a movie, staying as quiet and attentive as I was for this one. I thought it was very, very well done. A, do you agree? And B, what do you make of these two now just trying to destroy each other in public? Well, A, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't speak to that. B, honestly, it's really good. I highly recommend it. I thought it was great, and they're both fantastic in drama. As for the drama between them, if what he's alleging is true, she sounds like an absolute nightmare. It Ends With Us, adapted from Colleen Hoover's 2016 best-selling novel, delves into deep themes of domestic trauma and mistreatment. Blake Lively stars as Lily Bloom, a woman caught in a complex relationship that shifts from intense love to devastating chaos. Due to the film's sensitive subject matter, a careful promotional strategy was essential to consider its impact on survivors and audiences. It is a story that covers domestic violence, but it is not solely about domestic violence, it is about this woman's journey. Let's talk about the way Blake Lively has been promoting It Ends With Us and why it is problematic, especially for a movie addressing domestic violence. You might have seen the promo video still on the film's official TikTok account. In this video, she sits next to Colleen Hoover and encourages viewers to grab your friends, wear your florals, and go see the movie, implying that this is a lighthearted, rom-com-style chick flick, when it most definitely is not. Full disclosure, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I have seen plenty of TikToks about it. From what I've heard, the domestic violence portrayed in the film drew audible gasps and even sobs from audiences. Marketing it this way feels irresponsible. Lively's character, Lily Bloom, is even seen wearing florals in the film, reinforcing the misleading promotional tone. A critique here is that this story is not about Lively as an actress, it is about the narrative itself. You don't often see messy women in film, and that's why this story is important. As an actor, I rarely get the opportunity to portray a woman who experiences the full spectrum of human emotions. Typically, characters are either defined by their pain, trauma, and darkness or by their love, joy, and hope. It is rare to see a woman who is both, who contradicts herself yet makes complete sense. The messiness of the human experience is important to portray because it makes people feel seen and less alone. That is how I felt when I first read the novel. However, Lively's promotional efforts have faced criticism, with some arguing that certain marketing strategies were insensitive given the film's serious themes. For example, the release of a hair care line and themed cocktails, such as While You Wait, referencing a controversial character, sparked backlash. Many viewed these promotions as prioritizing commercial gain over the film's core message, igniting debates about the appropriateness of such tie-ins. During the filming of It Ends With Us, a scene was shot in front of my parents' place. While I can't speak to the entire movie, I can share what I observed about this particular moment. The only time we saw Lively was right before shooting. She pulled up about 10 minutes prior, had a brief discussion, and then the cameras started rolling. She cleared out quickly after. I'm not sure how much interaction she had with bystanders. There were plenty of people hoping for autographs, photos, or book signings, but the entire block was shut down during filming, limiting access. However, she certainly drew a large crowd. The dispute between Lively and Baldoni began in December 2024 when Lively filed a lawsuit alleging misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. Her claims detailed inappropriate behavior, including intrusive questions about her personal life and unprofessional conduct during filming. Baldoni, in turn, responded with a 179-page lawsuit. Since you might not have time to read it all, here is a direct quote from the complaint that encapsulates his stance. Lively wields immense power as one of the world's best-known celebrities. She set out to destroy the plaintiffs' livelihoods and businesses if they did not bend to her incessant demands, and when they refused to give way, she did exactly that, accusing them of foul and reprehensible misconduct. Now, I reached out to Baldoni's attorney, who tells me that they have copious amounts of text messages, emails, and other evidence that they say prove Baldoni did nothing wrong. I also reached out to a representative for Blake and Ryan, but they have not responded yet. We're going to be talking about all things Blake Lively and her legal complaint that she has filed against her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni. Yes, the It Ends With Us movie drama does, in fact, not end. What's interesting about this story to me is the Justin Baldoni of it all. He is a self-proclaimed male feminist, he's woke, he speaks out against sexual assault and sexual harassment, and even condemns toxic masculinity. And now, in this legal complaint filed by Blake Lively, he's being accused of sexual harassment. I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself. Will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk? When you hear stories of sexual harassment? When you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk? Will you actually stand up and do something so that one day, we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "Me Too"? This is going to be really awkward if these allegations are true. I will say, just for the record, that I am not a fan of either of these individuals, and something about both of them rubs me the wrong way. In response, Baldoni filed a countersuit accusing Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, of defamation and attempting to damage his career. This legal back-and-forth has not only captivated the public but also sparked discussions about workplace ethics, power dynamics in the entertainment industry, and the challenges faced by individuals who come forward with allegations against prominent figures. Justin Baldoni is now involving Taylor Swift in his lawsuit against Blake Lively. So, Baldoni is suing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist for over $400 million for all that It Ends With Us drama. Now, he's name-dropping Taylor Swift, Blake's bestie, into the mix. Thankfully, Taylor Swift is not being sued, but she's mentioned in his 179-page paper complaint, in which he alleges that Taylor's fame was used to pressure him during production. It really all stems from this penthouse situation where Blake and Ryan live. Apparently, there was a meeting there with all of them, and Taylor Swift was actually present. Blake ended up rewriting one of the scenes, and even after the meeting was over, Baldoni texted Blake, saying, "I got to put my glasses on for this one, the font is too small. Also, I was working on the rooftop scene today. Really love what you did, makes it so much more fun and interesting. And I would have felt the same way without Ryan and Taylor." This was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move and wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. Instead, the public is saying, "No, we have a few questions here." Justin Baldoni, however, is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman, and he stopped by the Megyn Kelly show. Here are some of the things he had to say. First, he says there never used to be a claim, there never was a sexual harassment claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen, there was actually no allegation of harassment until the lawsuit was filed. The legal dispute has also entangled Ryan Reynolds, Lively's husband. Baldoni claims that Reynolds initially expressed admiration for him during the filming of It Ends With Us, even sending messages of support. However, tensions reportedly arose when Reynolds sought to take over and rewrite the film's script, a move Baldoni resisted. Baldoni alleges that this refusal led Reynolds to align with Lively against him, further complicating the professional relationship between the parties involved. Ryan Reynolds is backing his wife, Blake Lively, 100%, but his claims against Justin Baldoni are being disproved, as Baldoni has just exposed him. In 2024, during the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds introduced the character of Nicepool, claiming it was his own creation. The character of Nicepool had one particularly interesting line when referring to the character Lady Deadpool, voiced by Blake Lively: "She just had a baby but still looks good." Because of that, It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni has come forward, alleging that the character of Nicepool was created just to mock him and that the line was used to insinuate that Baldoni was critical of Blake Lively's post-pregnancy weight. Since that movie came out, nobody's been celebrating it, despite it making $351 million. With Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni for harassment and Ryan Reynolds supporting her, Baldoni is now turning against Reynolds, pointing out that Reynolds actually liked him at one point. This entire situation continues to unfold, with no clear resolution in sight, and the public remains divided on who to believe. Throughout the entire process of filming, Justin Bond texted Ryan Reynolds at one point, saying, "I just happen to adore you." Bond claims that Reynolds actually loved him until Reynolds wanted to take over and rewrite the script, which Bond wouldn't allow. After that, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds allegedly turned against him. Justin Bond later sued Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for $400 million. Lively's demand for 2 years of Bond's records suggests she lacks solid evidence. If she had proof, she would have focused on the 2 months leading up to the lawsuit. Requesting 2 years of records increases the likelihood of finding something suspicious, as people use their phones in ways that could potentially support her claims. Despite the New York Times reporting that thousands of pages of documents had been handed over by Blake's team to confirm the details before publishing, Lively still wants to subpoena all phone records, including locations and text messages, regardless of the recipient or subject matter, dating back 2 years. This suggests she does not have solid evidence. If she has already had at least 2 months since filing her original complaint to gather proof, why would she need 2 years' worth of records? This makes it seem as though she is looking for dirt rather than evidence. It appears that her legal team is planning to comb through phone records to find something incriminating. While this is my own speculation and not a statement of fact, it seems they might be seeking information to strong-arm Bond's legal team. Otherwise, why request such extensive access to private data? Amid ongoing controversy, in February 2025, Blake Lively found herself at the center of a media storm following a contentious Hollywood Reporter cover. The illustration depicted Lively using a slingshot to launch a cell phone at her co-star, Justin Baldoni, who held a copy of their film's source material, It Ends With Us. Intended to represent the actor's legal dispute, the imagery faced intense backlash for its perceived insensitivity and for seemingly downplaying serious allegations. The framing of the picture was widely criticized, with one statement asserting that it played into harmful tropes about women who file workplace complaints, turning them into aggressors and suggesting they deserve retaliation. Furthermore, the article itself was deemed offensive, as it allegedly explained away documented instances of sexual harassment and retaliation by labeling them cultural misunderstandings. This statement from Lively's camp was met with disbelief. Many questioned what evidence she was referring to and what exactly was problematic about the situation. The statement, which condemned the cover as outrageously insulting, accused the Hollywood Reporter of perpetuating sexist tropes about women in the workplace, portraying them as aggressors, and implying they deserve retaliation. It also criticized the article for dismissing serious allegations of misconduct and retaliation as mere cultural misunderstandings. The controversy intensified when the Hollywood Reporter published what many considered an important exposé on what had truly transpired on set. However, Blake Lively, known for taking little accountability, launched a public attack against the respected Hollywood publication. A representative for her legal team stated, "The Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself," taking issue not just with the article but also with the imagery used to promote it. The cover, featuring the headline Blake vs. Baldoni, an exclusive look behind the battle lines of Hollywood's uncivil war, added to the controversy. Critics argued that the illustration reduced serious allegations of misconduct and defamation to a simplistic and offensive caricature. The image drew inspiration from the biblical tale of David and Goliath, depicting Lively as David confronting the towering Goliath, represented by Baldoni. However, many found this artistic choice insensitive, as it appeared to make light of the serious nature of the legal battle. By framing a complex and painful situation through such an oversimplified metaphor, the cover was accused of downplaying the real-world impact of workplace misconduct allegations. Ultimately, the backlash highlighted the broader conversation surrounding power, gender dynamics, and media representation in Hollywood. The soon-to-be former actress thinks that she is smarter than us. "I hate to break it to you, Nepo baby, but we are not dumb. Most people can clearly see that this is a reference to David versus Goliath. I think the Hollywood Reporter has been watching my videos or any of the interviews where I've spoken about this, as I've repeatedly compared it to a modern-day David versus Goliath. Just imagine her husband right behind her head." Well, it looks like Blake Lively is furious about the Hollywood Reporter cover that came out yesterday. I think we've all seen the cover. Blake even had one of her representatives make a public statement about it, and wait until you guys hear what this representative said. So yesterday, the Hollywood Reporter dropped this insane cover, Blake vs. Baldoni, an exclusive look behind the battle lines of Hollywood's Unal War. Clearly, there's a lot going on in this cover. I made a whole separate video about all of the symbolism if you are interested in that. When I saw this cover, I knew that Blake Lively was going to be upset, but I didn't expect her to comment on it so publicly. A spokesperson for Blake Lively said the Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself. The framing of this picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every trope about a woman who dares file a workplace complaint. However, Lively has reportedly stated in her complaint that several women voiced concerns about Justin Baldoni's behavior on set, further intensifying the controversy surrounding him. Insiders claim that Lively allegedly disclosed the names of 2 actresses who she said had issues with Baldoni, but sources later refuted these claims as false. So, she filed an amended complaint that is 141 pages long, adding 48 pages to her initial complaint that she first filed back in December. The big bombshell here, according to Blake Lively, is that there were other women on set who were also made to feel uncomfortable by Baldoni's alleged behavior. Lively claims in this updated complaint that another female co-star, who is unnamed in this complaint, actually reported this behavior to Sony, which was the distributor behind this film. Now, I have reached out to Baldoni's team, we have not heard back. But you see there that they say he did not hold himself accountable after this was reported and instead used a louder voice. It goes on to say that he used it to silence Blake Lively and anyone else who may have spoken up. Sources indicate that the 2 actresses named in the lawsuit are Jenny Slate and Isabella Farah. Despite their alleged desire to remain anonymous, the amended lawsuit initially did not disclose their names as they reportedly did not want to be involved publicly. Sources indicate the 2 women are actresses Jenny Slate and Isabella Farah, who could not immediately be reached for comment. So, it just goes into who they are. But what's crazy is that they did not want to be named. When her amended lawsuit dropped, everybody was like, what? Like, you're just saying that other women felt uncomfortable, but they're not willing to share any of their information? They don't want to join the lawsuit. They don't want to be named. You can't share texts. Nothing. Like, keep my name out of it. Obviously, people think the other 2 women are Jenny Slate and Isabella Farah. Something I cannot reconcile is Isabella Farah's text message to Justin after she stopped filming with him. She literally says, "Thank you for making it such a comfortable set for me, my first film." You just would not say that. You would not use those words to your creepy director. You would use other words to kiss his ass, but she literally says, "Thank you for making it such a comfortable experience." It's so true. You would just not send that message. Or you would send another message that would be ass kissy too, but you wouldn't use the words comfortable and safe. I believe she is the other person. The person I really need to hear from is Jenny Slate, because I believe all this other stuff is pointing toward her, that she was the other person in this. Jenny Slate, I feel like, has the power to rule on this case. Like, if she comes out and says, everything was fine, you know, if she says, I was creeped out, or if she says, I was creeped out, no, I think that even if she says, I was creeped out, first of all, and this is a point a lot of people are making, listen, a guy being a little too woo-woo, maybe a little creepy, making someone uncomfortable, is not the same thing as being harassed. That is just what I think a lot of people will say unless someone comes out and says he did X, Y, or Z, and it's fully over the line. Yeah, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, that's the world. Yeah, totally. Especially in this case. A spokesperson for Lively stated that these witnesses had given permission to share their communications, but critics argue they were thrown under the bus to strengthen Lively's case and shift the pressure away from her and Ryan Reynolds. The Hollywood Reporter also produced documents in the discovery process, said a spokesperson for Lively. So, now, it's not even just in the lawsuit, a spokesperson has come out and said this. Who's the spokesperson? Is it a lawyer? Is it Ryan Reynolds? Is it Blake? Like, who? Who? You don't even name them. Okay. In a statement, Brian Freeman, a lawyer for Baldoni, said that Lively's revised lawsuit is filled with unsubstantiated hearsay of unnamed persons who are clearly no longer willing to come forward. Do you think Lively was genuinely advocating for others, or did she cross a line? Share your opinions in the comments below.